Ladies and gentlemen, as you know, there is a race on in the Republican Party to become the Republican presidential nominee, or colloquially known as the craziest in the loony bin, I guess. And just to give you a sense of why we see things like Jeb Bush coming out against a federal minimum wage, or Ted Cruz wanting to allow people to discriminate against gay people in Washington, D.C. It is because the Republican Party has created a Frankenstein's monster of I don't know, lunatic conspiracy theorists. I don't know how else to put this. So here is one of those guys who has contributed to this dynamic mightily, and frankly, to be fair, is also a little nuts himself. Here is former Senator Rick Santorum at the South Carolina National Security Action Summit last week. South Carolina, of course, being on the forefront of our national security. And he is questioned by a retired school teacher. Listen to what she has to ask him.
Mr. Santorum, thank you for being here. I'm Virginia Ellisor, a retired school teacher, lifelong political activist, and lifelong resident of South Carolina. I'll ask you the same question I asked Senator Cruz. And
pause it. I don't know if we have a tape of her asking this same question to Senator Cruz, but so far, so crazy. Go ahead.
I'll preface it by saying Michelle Bachmann, I think it was King, said that Boehner made a deal. My question is on defending this country. Thank you for what you do for national security. I'm concerned about sealing these borders and protecting the United States. I've fought that battle all my life.
Thank you.
And I'm losing, and it's because I'm not getting help from my Congress. And anyway, Michelle Bachmann and King, in an interview on one of the stations, said that Boehner made a deal with Obama back in September to be on board with his executive amnesty. The American people put the Republicans back in office in the House and the Senate, and the two things we asked y'all to do were shut down Obama's executive amnesty and shut down Obamacare. And you let us down on both issues. Why is the Congress rolling over and letting this communist dictator destroy my country? Y'all know what he is, and I know what he is. I want him out of the White House. He's not a citizen. He could have been removed a long time ago. Larry Clayman's the one who got the judge to say that the executive amnesty is illegal. Everything he does is illegal. He's trying to destroy the United States. The Congress knows this. What kind of games is the Congress of the United States playing with the citizens of the United States? Y'all need to work for us, not for the lobbyists that pay your salaries. Amen. Get on board, but let's stop all this and save America. You know, what's going on, Senator Santorum? Where do we go from here? Ted told me I've got to wait now until the next election. I don't think the country will be around for the next election. Obama tried to blow up a nuke in Charleston a few months ago, and the three admirals and generals, he has totally destroyed our military. He's fired all the generals and all the admirals that said they wouldn't fire on the American people if you ask them.
Now wait a second. So the best part about, well, there's a lot of great parts about this.
How did you pick a best?
But you'll notice that, like, when she talks about President Obama's plan to nuke Charleston, and of course, you know, he had to fire the generals and the admirals because they weren't going to do it. That is when you hear someone in the crowd sort of laugh, like, oh, this lady's crazy, as opposed to everything else she said up to that point.
To do so if he wanted to take the guns away from them. This man is a communist dictator. We need him out of that White House now. And the Congress of the United States is the only one. We've lost our Congress. We've lost our executive.
Ma'am, I would ask you please to allow the senator to answer the question.
I got your question.
You've made the question clear. Please let him answer.
Okay, well,
All right, pause it.
Well, okay.
Now, here you have to ask yourself something, okay? You are running for president of the Republican, or the nomination for you're looking for the nomination of the Republican Party. And this is sort of like one of those, this could actually be sort of a video game. All right? You have an option. What do? You know that really what you're running for is the nomination of the vast majority of whom either totally agree with this lady or just somewhat agree and are not sure about the whole nuke thing in Charleston. Now, what do you say? You could say, or you could even just say, like, I'm just going to focus on the Charleston thing. Like that, I don't believe the president has a plan to nuke South Carolina. And I think you should check up on that whole thing about the admirals. But no, here's what Rick Santorum does.
First off, I take somewhat offensive referring it to you because I'm not a sitting member of the Senate, so I'm not taking blame for any of that stuff, right? I mean,
Pause it. In other words, I just want you to say everything you said about him being the communist dictator and et cetera, et cetera. It's not my fault. Go ahead.
But I will tell you this. You've hit on one point that I absolutely agree. This is a complete lack of leadership.
Now, it is unclear. It is unclear if what Rick Santorum is saying, that President Obama failed in his attempt to nuke South Carolina, and that shows an incredible amount of lack of leadership. So there you have it. Rick Santorum on the campaign trail. Expect more of this, folks. This is what the Republican Party has become.
I love that they can't decide. It's like Obama is either a communist dictator who is literally destroying America and everything upon which it was built.
True.
Or he's this weak, feckless metrosexual, and I say metrosexual, I think we all know what they would say. And so it's sort of like, it's like he wakes up in the morning like, what we got to do? We're going to nuke Charleston and we're going to implement Sharia. And he gets like a little bit of pushback. And then by the end, he's like, oh, whatever. Fine. It's cool. Well, I don't even want to nuke Charleston anymore. I'm tired of it. Everybody's just constantly bitching at me. Guy has a bold, innovative idea trying to make the country. You know what? Look, whatever. I'm just going to go and try to destroy Israel. Forget it. I don't want to do it anymore.
What you're not, what you're missing.
What am I missing? Is the long-term plan?
Yeah, of course, he's just laying away.
It's always the long-term plan.
And you're missing the fact that he's a Kenyan, because that is what makes him both a communist, socialist dictator and feckless. Right?
Right, because the
He'd be
work
much more
habits,
effective,
because they're from a warm climate.
Exactly.
Right,
He'd be much more effective on the African continent. And so he just...
we're lucky that Kenyans take siestas, because if they did not take siestas and they weren't so darn lazy and they're destroying America, he would have nuked Charleston already.
I'm curious as to why.
Come September.
My favorite part, though, that in retrospect, is like, I already asked this question of Senator Cruz. Now...
I would love to know what Cruz had to say.
Cruz is shame.
Well,
Cruz
you heard
like, I blocked the Charleston nuke plan. I can't take credit for it,
You got to
but I
wait
stopped
2
it.
years. You got to wait 2 years because everybody knows that communist dictators are only allowed to serve 2 terms. That's one of the things that the communist dictators...
I will do everything in my power. I will drop a suitcase nuke in Charleston. But look, fundamentally, 2 terms, we got to respect that. Wallahu Akbar.
That's the one. It's the one thing you got to respect.
Look, I want to be blunt with everybody. Jews, don't care for them. America, hate it. Sharia, implement it. But after 2 terms, you got to respect the host country.
That's right.
Okay. And by that I
right.
mean,
Yes.
as a Muslim from Kenya, I have to have some respect. It's a guest culture.
The norms of, right.
The norms
exactly.
of the,
Exactly. Yeah. You don't want people to freak out.
You want people to get all wound up. You ever see the Manchurian Candidate? It's not how it really works, man.
No, because you can't afford to really just you can't throw the baby out with the bathwater.
Nairobi Candidate.
All right. Unbelievable. I just, And I just love how like the crowd was just like, we're on board with all of this until you get to the part of the U.S. military personnel not listening to they're taking orders from the commander in chief. I mean,
By
that's
the way, I would love to script out that meeting. You know, like a couple like veteran career guys, and one of them just be like, Bob, I can't stay for this one. Look, man, I don't want to jeopardize the pension. All right, I don't know what the fuck this guy has in mind. It seems a little crazy, but look, if he wants me to nuke Charleston, I can't. We're trying to build an extension on the beach house. Okay, like
I found the article about Obama nuking the.
I know. What is it? It's I
shocking-
know. No, wait. Let me guess now. It's sandwiched in between male beta super vitality pitch or Dick Morris talking about how he can save your pension.
I can't even give that to Alex Jones. It's on a site called whatdoesitmean.com.
Barack Obama's going to nuke South Carolina, but there is an upside for you if you subscribe to my investment newsletter.
A shocking new
You will be buying what was heretofore non-coastal property in North Carolina.
Wait, it gets good actually, because this shocking new report circulating in the Kremlin today states that President Barack Obama, while in a fit of rage, ousted 4 of the United States' top-ranking military officers.
When did this happen?
In October of 2013.
Wow.
After they refused to detonate a nuclear device in/near Charleston, South Carolina this past weekend, and instead they exploded it off the Atlantic coast.
You won't drop a nuke on Charleston, cracker! White Caucasian devil! Fired! Get Minister Farrakhan on the line! It's only so long I can play this double game. When do I get to start nuking America? It's like that girl Azalea Banks said. She said, I hate everything about America. That girl's got nothing on me.
I just,
She's going to get beheaded too,
I just
posing in
want to
Playboy.
know, like, what? I just like,
That's
honestly,
haram, baby.
I would like to just, I mean, maybe one day we'll just do an Indiegogo campaign, because I would like to embed myself in the world that lady occupies and just hang out. Like, I'm the supermarket delivery guy or whatever, and just like, hello. Nice to see you. How's things today? Well, they're not great. I don't know if I'm going to be here next week. Like, this must haunt her constantly, right? I mean, how do you live with this information